You're listening to Happy Voicing. I'm joined with a very special guest today, someone who you might recognize and love their work. Whether it's from audiobooks or the documentary Racist Roots, here's Langston Darby.
All right. I have the utmost pleasure to have you as a guest today. First and foremost, before we dive into these questions, can you give yourself a little introduction? Just give yourself a little introduction.
Darby. I'm an actor in a multi-hyphenate sense of stage, camera, voiceover, whatever pays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to begin, what does being a voice actor mean to you?
To me, being a voice actor means just being an actor, period.
Yeah.
And to specify that, I will say that, you know, it is my belief in the current day and age that an actor should be able to work in as many mediums as possible,
Right.
or at least in multiple mediums. I'll just say that I feel that, as an old saying goes, acting is acting is acting,
Yeah.
which basically means like the essential core skills transfer across mediums. Uh, and funny enough, like voiceover, voice acting is probably the second oldest form. I mean, there's
Yeah.
theater, and before we had film and television, we had the recorded audio.
Yeah.
So, so it's voice acting to me just means yet another medium to practice the craft.
Yeah.
Uh, and I will say finally that each medium, each performing arts aspect has different qualities and characteristics that make it special and unique.
Yeah. Absolutely. Excuse me. When you started your voice acting journey, and I think through emails, we talked a little bit how you're still at the beginning parts of your voice acting journey. What's your experience so far assimilating or joining with the voice acting community?
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's a bumpy road. I've said this to someone else, but I feel like voice acting is the most corporate or
Mhm.
corporatized form of acting. Is the most businessy part of the business I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that in large part is just it takes a very real and significant amount of capital to invest in to get started.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially post pandemic. Well, depending on how you feel about that, but especially post lockdown, but even pre-lockdown, like you would need to be able to invest in demos,
Yeah.
and to get the demos, you need to invest in the coaching. And there's so many demos you can have depending on what aspect of the voice acting world you're really interested in.
Yeah.
Now it's the demos and the coaching plus the equipment and prepping a home space and
Yeah.
having that little bit of extra space to record at home. Um, so other than those challenges, I will say that my journey has just been kind of like took longer to start than I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Uh, but a series of happy coincidences and just finding every little opportunity I could
Yeah.
past initially getting going.
Yeah. Absolutely. So have you picked up on any advice throughout your journey so far, that truly resonated, with you?
Advice that truly resonated with me. Um, I was thinking about this earlier. The only thing that comes to mind, like as far as advice, is that I was speaking to like a mentor at an audiobook
Yeah.
narration program that I was a part of, and in our first meeting, I was like, when I go to an event, uh, like an audiobook narrator
Yeah.
event or whatever, and I'm speaking to producers, just like, how should I present myself? Like, should it was such a weird question. Like, should I be like thinking about how I sound in those casual settings? And he was like, no, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Um, And so to like kind of distill that down, just don't think about having to put on whatever your work voice is
Hmm.
when you're networking or potentially networking with people.
Yeah.
And this isn't written in stone. This is this one person's opinion, but I do think that's a good thing to keep in mind, like not having to feel like you need to be on all the time,
Yeah.
especially like, well, that's what all these demos are for. And as an actor in any genre or medium, I shouldn't have to feel like that I need to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Because it can be a little bit off-putting to people, I imagine, as well. But that's something I try to keep in mind. I just kind of just try to be myself in
Yeah.
casual yet networking settings.
Yeah, I get that. To backtrack a little bit, has there been any avenues within voice acting, whether it's like video games, anime, cartoons, corporate work? Has there been any avenue that you haven't yet covered that you want to get into?
Pretty much everything you just listed.
Hmm.
I really want to get into video games and animation, but I just haven't had the capital, the finances yet to
Yeah.
invest in getting that coaching, to
Yeah.
getting those demos, to like seriously present myself
Yeah.
for those type of opportunities.
I see. I got you. With AI becoming more rampant and many companies attempting to convert to more AI practices, which in the process steals human workers' jobs, what are some strategies that you practice to make sure that you deliver and associate with real human voices?
Um, One of the things I do right now is something called NAVA, like
Hmm.
this organization called NAVA, National Association of Voice Actors. They have a rider.
Hmm.
I'm just literally looking through their thing now, and synth voice slash AI rider. It's something that this organization has put together to present. It's an addendum you can present to people that are hiring you.
Yeah.
That, and I'm reading directly from the site now, addresses the concerns that voice actors have regarding the use of AI and synthetic voices. It's available for everyone, free for everyone to download to use.
Hmm.
And again, that's NAVA, NAVA. So I read that. I first learned about it at a virtual uh, voiceover conference that was a week long, just covering different business
Yeah.
aspects of voiceover. And I read it, and it's something that I do when I look at the initial offer by a voiceover producer or contract, whoever's hiring me.
Mhm.
I will like just express my thoughts about AI and synthetic voices and just present this purely as a way just to be like, and if you ever want to look at the language of that, it's
Mhm.
available online, but
Yeah.
just purely as a way to be like, please do not, without my consent, use my voice to train AI
Mhm.
or to potentially produce more work in the future using my voice.
I see.
So that's the main thing I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
Um, just yeah, and I'm very on the fence about AI and synthetic voices is in the future, because I've at that same conference they had someone come in and talk about an actor come in and talk about how they signed over their voice to this one particular company and they had a
Hmm.
representative for that company, and like how they're going to be basically paid as long as that voice is used.
Yeah.
So, and that's happening more with some big Hollywood actors. I'm still just like, the future is developing very quickly.
Right.
So the Nava Rider is, I just want to be informed and making conscious decisions about the potential of it being used
Yeah.
by people when
Yeah.
I get into specific business contracts.
Yeah, absolutely. So it goes into a concept of like you're like on the fence about it because like you can see that there are potential opportunities that you can get through like these contracts that people can do, but it has to be like ethical and it has to be something where it's like it's grounded.
Yeah, 100%, a hundred
Mhm.
percent.
Okay. How can young people seeking entry into the business compete with both AI and senior talent?
Uh, I think the essential thing is your
Yeah.
abilities and skills, and however you can acquire those, whether that's through actor training, uh, specifically voiceover or not. I think being, again, acting is acting is acting. I think being a good actor is going to put you in competition with the senior talent because everybody's voice is different and
Yeah.
voices change as they mature. And that's going to be like AI as fast as it is getting more sophisticated, it still can't replicate what a human body and mind can do yet.
Yeah.
So honing in those on those essential skills, specifically uh, acting skills as they relate to speech. Studying there's like I studied one major system of speech from a book called Speak with Distinction.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember who wrote it right off the top of my head. It's like literally on my shelf over there. But Speak with Distinction, and I won't go on and on about it, but like it can be
Yeah.
controversial because it like seeks to teach a kind of older stage form of speaking. But what it does at its core, though, is that at least for American English, you go over every single phoneme um, in detail and like whether or not it has length, how they link to each other, how they don't link a link, how to ease the way that I glide from like a word ending in N and starting in T, and like I take the tip of my tongue and just slide it forward.
Hmm.
Like there's just like this mountain of little very specific musculature and articulation things
Yeah.
that amount up to maximum clarity, minimum effort
Yeah.
that can allow you to sound like anything and anyone,
Yeah.
not just like proper good old American speech. So it doesn't have to be like a speak with distinction thing that you focus on, but just like a
Yeah.
very good speech at slash acting class will distinguish you.
Yeah.
Distinction.
Absolutely. Uh, for the next question, what preparation do you see as most helpful in the field? So this can be answered in a multitude of ways. It can be answered by like vocal exercises that you do, or like cold how you get into the mindset of performing for a role or performing for a project, or even before that, like how do you get in the mindset of contacting someone or getting contacted for roles?
Preparation. Okay. Um, I think okay, so I'll try to break it down. If we're like talking about like you're on a job, day of, morning of job,
Yeah.
obviously whatever warm ups you have, and along with that, like just taking care of your health, your vocal and articulatory health is good. Um, Understanding whatever genre you're working in,
Yeah.
genre and like final destination of whatever the work is going to be, like
Right.
just clearly like am I doing a commercial or am I doing an audiobook? What genre is the book? What is the product? What is their take on the product in this commercial? And that really just goes back to, again, part of actor training is one of the first things I was taught is you can't act. This is double negative. You can't act what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you just need to understand what you're doing. um, as far as preparation for the field in terms of getting work and making connections, I am still working on that aspect of it myself.
Yeah.
And especially depending on how you want to get into it, there's so many different things to think about. Like, if you really want to get into more corporate stuff, like, even though the cold emailing days are apparently over and or rapidly ending,
Hmm.
that's still a thing. Networking and making phone calls, trying to procure an agent
Yeah.
who can send you out and having the demos for that. I'll give you my version of the answer for that as far as like being in the field and finding work and making connections.
Yeah.
It's just like looking for every little opportunity you can. Um, in your community with your connections and building from there. Like I sort of found a way in through an improv group that does a podcast. And then that podcast gave me my first samples.
Yeah.
And then I had those sample and gave me the opportunity to be in a professional recording studio for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, and those samples helped me get an apprenticeship with a book publisher. And then from there, that gave me more um, legitimacy to get like a little narration job on a short, like a docu-film,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth.
Cool. I really enjoy the concept of like you never know where like opportunities can come. So like starting off within improv and then moving over to podcasting and then that helping you get your first voiceover like narration job. It's just really cool. And it's like it's so amazing to see the progress that like people can go through just like situations that they could have never expected to come. Has there been a role or a project for you that has been rewarding to you?
Hmm. I was thinking about this one, and like one of the well, I'll just it's hard to answer that question because rewarding.
Yeah.
um, right now, I'll say the kind of the neatest thing
Hmm.
is and I'm just looking it up now because I can barely remember. It's for an organization called what is this organization called? Uh, it's a Center for Death Penalty Litigation,
Okay.
um, and it aims to place North Carolina's modern death penalty within the context of 400 years of history. Um, this is all on the website for a project of
Yeah.
the Center for Death Penalty Litigation, and it was a project called. It was a little docu short film called Racist Roots,
Okay.
and it's dealing with those issues of racism and the death penalty, specifically in North Carolina, and how it is unjustly or disproportionately affecting African Americans in that state.
Yeah.
And I got that project just through someone I went to conservatory with, and they have a production company, and that production company was hired by the organization.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just like recorded it in my little home closet booth. And when I saw the final product, which was a mix of interviews, animation, and a team of narrators, I was just like, wow, that's beautiful and important.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that I got to do that. So
Yeah.
that's like the neatest thing. The subject matter is heavy, uh, but I'm still, like I said, I'm still breaking in. So it's like that's very neat. But I also have like I get to have credits from like Dr. Seuss Enterprises
Hmm.
and Warner Brothers Animation on my resume, even though
Yeah.
I still haven't done animation. It was literally for a podcast Looney Tunes put out,
Yeah.
but it was produced by Warner Brothers Animation. So,
Yeah. No, I see it. I see it. I get it.
excuse me.
Bless
All right.
you. So we have two final questions left. To start, is there any work, roles, or classes that you would like to share for any aspiring voice actors?
Definitely in terms of classes, anybody that's giving like a speech class, again,
Yeah.
that's rooted in acting, specifically like again, like anything that's based on Speak with Distinction by Edith Skinner,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be that. It's just like you can literally take multiple semesters of just speech,
Yeah.
separate it from voice as much as like speech and voice go together.
Yeah.
Um, if you happen to see speech for actors anywhere, that would be great. And that's different from public speaking.
Yeah.
Which public speaking doesn't necessarily translate to voiceover
Hmm.
acting, especially depending on what you want to do. Um, Work or roles. Uh, hmm. I was trying to think about this earlier, like, what was I inspired by? I would just, okay, this is what I would encourage.
Hmm.
To definitely expand your palette of what you have consumed in media, and especially where when we talk about aspiring voice actors, when you're talking about younger ones,
Hmm.
but not even just those, like expand your media and cultural palette to old film, TV shows, and audio recordings.
Yeah.
Uh, not just old, but even stuff that's still in your native language or languages. Like I'm really fond of BBC comedies,
Hmm.
British broadcasting comedies, because for a while when I didn't have cable as a kid, they would
Yeah.
show British comedies on PBS on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching a good number of those, and it just like whether it's stuff that's not from your country or whether it's stuff that's older, it just expands your reference palette, really.
Yeah.
Um, we used to have more of a what some people call a monoculture, where even if you were very different race, class, whatever, everybody could kind of like know the same references of Bugs Bunny,
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, the Brady Bunch, blah blah blah. Who
Yeah.
was Nat King Cole? And now it's like for better and or worse, especially with the internet, our options and access have bloomed in a wonderful way. So like, you can be 13 and into like German death metal
Yeah.
performed by a Japanese person.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, like whatever you like, but it's a good idea to expand that palette.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, I don't as a black American person, like born and raised here, I kind of always did that in a
Yeah.
way because there was that monoculture that didn't start to really open up like nobody like people in my high school didn't have people in my generation didn't have smartphones until like the middle of high school.
Yeah.
um but as a black person, like I always was kind of like in the monoculture and also like the whole slate of television and films and music that
Yeah.
comes out that really appeals to black people before it necessarily makes the quote unquote crossover
Yeah.
or before it gains mainstream appeal. I was always like naturally attuned to like liking stories outside of myself, like randomly picking up the Joy Luck Club in my high school teacher's English teacher's room and borrowing it to then like watching any number of black shows and stuff. It's like, oh,
Right.
this is an Asian person story. This is a Jewish person story. Oh, this is all very interesting, and I can
Yeah.
imagine myself in these human circumstances, and I can like very much look at these black stories, and that just expands your palette even more.
Yeah.
Long answer.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it. And as a final question, if you were to give a younger you a bit of advice from the experiences that you've gathered all the way up into this point, what would you tell them?
Ooh, take the risks early.
Okay.
Take calculated risks early. Um, because the younger you are, the more if you're relatively healthy, you just have more energy to just really put your nose to the grindstone and burn the
Yeah.
candle at both ends.
Yeah.
So you need to take care of yourself, you need to be safe, but also you can afford to take a little bit more risks.
Yeah.
And part of that burning the candle at both ends things is just save money,
Yeah.
make as much as you can and save it and use it strategically because again, especially with voiceover, you just need to have money to invest.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't, yeah. Uh, I guess the last part of that would be when you're looking for places to live,
Mhm.
find one with enough extra space, which is impossible, enough
Mhm.
extra space in a quiet enough area where you can set up your little voiceover
Yeah.
closet or booth or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And thank you so much for providing a voice for my audience and for being able to talk about the ins and outs of voice acting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Happy Voicing. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, whether you're starting out or experienced, break a leg and happy voicing.